Yes, hi.
Hi. First of all, it's a pleasure talking to
Thank you.
I mean, you're a legend after all.
Oh, boy. I don't know
yeah.
about that.
Yeah. So thank you very much for your time for this interview.
Sure.
So let's do a conversation starting from your new book, Blinded by the Light. Tell us some things about your new book.
Well, I've just started writing that book, and it is I'm taking my fans, my readers through my spiritual journey that started when I was 8 years old, when I was born again, and I was a Jesus girl for years, and I went through all kinds of gurus and schools, and just trying to get in touch with my higher self, which of course is there all along, and it's just a trek through my spiritual reality from the time I was 8 years old until now.
Yeah. Pamela,
I've just started that, so that won't be out for another year and a half or so.
That's wonderful. Pamela, can you tell me about the legendary book of yours, I'm with a Band, almost 2 decades ago?
Yes, 2 decades ago I wrote that. That's the story of my life in the rock and roll world, in the revolution of the rock and roll world in the 60s and 70s. Actually, it started in the 50s because I was an Elvis girl when I was very young. It was Elvis and Jesus both. They were both on my wall. Now they're both tattooed on my back. So,
great company.
Yes, very good company.
Yeah.
Two incredible icons. But anyway, I'm with the Band. My first book is about my life with spending time with rock giants like Mick Jagger and Jimmy Page and Keith Moon and Frank Zappa, Graham Parsons, and just being in that world when it was a brand new world, when the Who were first making amazing music and the Stones. So it's I was right in the thick of it. So I was in the middle of all of that. I was dating all these different rock musicians. I love music from the time I was a little kid.
Yeah. Pamela, are you still in contact with the Stones? I mean, did you see any Rolling Stones gig maybe recently?
Yes, I have not seen Mick Jagger in years. When he married Bianca, she told me in no uncertain terms to not call there anymore. But I'm still friendly with a lot of them. I'm still friendly with the Zeppelin guys. And a lot of my exes that are still alive, I'm still in touch with. My friends from the Byrds and but a lot of them are gone. Jim Morrison and Keith Moon, and a lot of my exes are no longer with us. So I'm at least I was there when all this went on, and I have lived to tell the tale, and I think that's why I'm with the Band is so successful. And my second book, Take Another Little Piece of My Heart, is the sequel, and it's what happens after. Actually, the subtitle is called A Groupie Grows Up. It's about my marriage to Michael DeBar and raising a gifted child and losing my dad. And, it's a more mature book. And then I have a third book, which is Rock Bottom, which is about a lot of other different tragic rock stories.
Yeah.
And now I'm writing this one.
Pamela, you are a
And I have Let's Spend the Night Together, too. I almost forgot one. My most recent book, Let's Spend the Night Together, is about groupies.
Yeah.
From way back then, all my friends, until right now. So this is actually my fifth book I'm writing, I guess.
Yeah. As you know, Led Zeppelin are back in business again, in a way, ready to tour again, maybe.
No. Not going to happen.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
Robert said no.
You know better.
Robert said no, and Jimmy was auditioning people, and it didn't work out.
Yes, I know. Okay. We have... Yeah, I understand. It's better that way, maybe, eh?
Yes, I don't think they should do it. That's a silly idea. And Robert just won 5 Grammys, so he's one up on Jimmy right now, that's for sure. And he was just knighted. He's Sir Robert Plant now.
Pamela, what is rock and roll for you? I think that you know better than anyone. What is rock and roll mythology? What is rock and roll, finally?
Well, it's freedom of expression, I think, is what drew me into it, and the lack of rules, and it's the combination of those two things, you know, besides obviously the music, which moves me. And I think with Elvis, it was the freedom and the idea that there were no boundaries, and he was breaking any existing rules. And then it went into the Beatles, too, which were changing the world, and then Dylan, of course. Dylan, his lyrics combined with the sound, you know, Like a Rolling Stone is my favorite song, for instance, you know, with all of the profound things he was saying. At that time, he was reflecting all the young people's ideas and thoughts.
Yeah.
And there was a beat behind it. So it was a combination of those things for me that made it irresistible.
Yeah. Pamela, I think that youth has nothing to do with age. It's more maybe a state of mind, a spiritual path maybe in a way. Are you still in yoga, you know? Are you still in yoga meditation nowadays?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I meditate. I go to meditation classes. I do yoga. I work with a teacher named Light that I've been working with for 20 years. We're studying a book right now called A Course in Miracles. I was involved in Paramahansa Yogananda's school for years. I was in the Fourth Way, a Gurdjieff school. I went to church at the Church of Religious Science for 10 years. I mean, it's endless.
Yeah. yeah.
And I'm going to be writing about all of those.
Oh, that's interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, that entire journey.
Can you tell me some things about the rock music scene on the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles, a legendary period about rock and roll? You know, about the feeling, about the, you know, at the time. Well, we were all, it was like a united experience. We all felt like we were all one, you know. It was sort of an us against them, the young rock-loving people, the long-haired boys and girls, you know, in real tiny little dresses. And I don't know, we thought we were going to change the world. And we kind of did, I think. I mean, if you look back on the 40 years, the spiritual revolution really started at that point as well. Yeah. And it had a lot to do with Dylan, and it had a lot to do with George Harrison bringing Eastern meditation and stuff to the West. But on the Sunset Strip, it was a big free-for-all, but it was like a love-in. You know, it was all... Yeah. It's hard to really describe because it was so amazing. It seemed like it was never going to end, too. But at the time, I knew it was very special, so I kept my diaries, and I kept a lot of notes about it, and I made certain, you know, to remember it all so I could share it with everybody. And that I'm with the band has a lot of stories of the Sunset Strip and the Whiskey A Go-Go and all the clubs there and the riot on the Strip. And so luckily I got to chronicle all of that. Yeah. Pamela, you are a breast cancer survivor. Can you tell us about your experience?
Well, like many, many women, I guess 1 in 8 now in the world. I found out I had breast cancer. I got it real early. Thank goodness. I only had to have a couple of little surgeries, and then I had 2 months of radiation. And I used my spirituality to help me through that, because it can make you feel helpless. It can make you feel like, you know, you have no control over, especially when you're laying on the radiation table, you know, getting zapped. I saw Jesus at one end of above my head. I saw Yogananda at my feet. I felt that I was being assisted by my spiritual advisors, shall we say, during the time, and it made me feel like I had some control over it. And I was also doing a lot of visual imagery with the healing process. And anyway, there's a whole chapter on that in my upcoming book.
Oh, very interesting. You're a fighter, after all.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So, Pamela, thank you very much for your time for this interview.